young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk Today.
What's on your mind, Cayman? If you're ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Discussing current events and local news, community spotlights, hot topics, listener stories, cultural and historical discussions, environmental issues, fun and lighthearted topics, guest interviews. Cayman, basically anything you want to talk about, we are ready to listen. Here's your guest host, Orrett Connor.
Good afternoon and welcome to Talk Today, this Tuesday, the 5th of August, 2025. If you like to talk, we're here to listen. But if you're going to talk, you have to talk between now and 1:30, because at 1:30, we will have representatives from the Health Services Authority in the studio with us, and they will be talking about how to use antibiotics wisely. Please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Talk Today is reminding you
to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
And now, back to Talk Today.
Good afternoon and welcome to Talk Today. I'm your guest host, Orrett Connor. The phone lines are open. Our toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037, 949-6990, WhatsApp number 925-3261, and you can message us on that WhatsApp number as well. We already have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Good afternoon. Would like to continue my conversation from yesterday.
Okay, not a problem. Not a problem. Go right ahead.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm good. And yourself?
Good. You know, you was talking about Bordentown yesterday, and Mr. Connor, today I want to challenge the MPs for that area to come on air or give some sort of statement what their plans are to enhance Bordentown, to know that it's the first capital. Mm-hmm. You understand? Mm-hmm. And it's need some uplifting really, really bad. So I challenge the MPs today for Bordentown to come out and tell Radio Cayman or anybody what their plans are to enhance Bordentown.
But should it be left to our elected representatives? What about the district committees that we have, and what about people taking pride in their own communities, in their individual properties as well? Don't we need to hold them accountable also?
110%, sir. I agree with you 110%. But like I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
But that's when I mentioned the COVID beach, how that is the condition and the way that's being used. I just tell you right there what the community people think of that area. They think some of them don't think very much of a value for that district of Bordentown. If they're living there or if they're not living there, they just go there and hang out for the day and so forth. So it takes a village to raise a child. And Bordentown right now needs every hand in the pot to try to uplift that district and make it a more welcome and a more presentable district going forward to the eastern side, or even for those who are living there. Something needs to be done. And like you say, all of those different departments that can do something or don't do something, everybody needs to chip in. From West Bay to East End, we all is on one island. And this thing about divided MPs for this section and that section, they still have to go to the House to make their pass whatever they want passed. And if it doesn't get it passed, it just stays there, and it stays there for 4 years, and they run again for another 4 years, and they get in and doesn't get anything passed. And it just going on and on and on and on. And the people are so, I don't even want to use the word, they keep putting them back in that in can't see nothing, not just Bordentown. Some other districts as well too. They're not gaining anything from it. And when I say gaining, a bit of comfort, a bit of tenderness, a bit of kindness and care and love your island. People coming here and loving our island just how it is, but we that live here are not accustomed to living like this. We're unhappy. I know I don't like it. I don't like the nastiness. But I just ask that they'll come aboard and say something. Mr. Connor, we have different homes here that takes care of people, and their shopping is done like every month. Okay. I know Foster for a fact that the majority of them goes though. I stayed on your station before. Mr. Connor, and going to Foster's or any other grocery store for these government places that they are taking care of people, they're living in there and they're feeding them and and all that good stuff. They should have a pantry, or they should be doing the stuff wholesale and make a list of each one of those homes that need these things and distribute it to them, than going to Foster's with 4 shopping carts. Could just be going to one location. So
they shop in retail rather than doing wholesale.
Exactly. And that is, I would think that as a big strain on the government, and if we got 6 of those homes there, you imagine what that bill is at the end of the month for government to pay the Fosters. You understand? Why they doing it in a wholesale manner? Government got some in the building. Why can't they fix up a little space in one of the buildings, put a couple of refrigerators and a couple of freezers, and put someone in there to distribute this food for when the person comes from whatever home they're coming from to take back to these people, that instead of going to Foster's every other week, and then they can just do like a one-time shopping at a wholesale place at Foster's and Kirk's or whoever is doing wholesale on the island for them.
And you're certain that that's the way that it is done, that they do their shopping in the supermarket?
Yes, Mr. Corn, I witness them every month at Foster's Airport. And all 4 and 6 gallons of fresh milk. You know how much a gallon of milk in the grocery store? It was almost $10.
Yeah, if you bought in bulk, you probably get it cheaper.
And then, they need to go and shop for these places. And somebody, whoever's in charge, needs to go and fix this, that they can have this food at this place, someone managing it, and they come in and they take out what they need and it's being written up and they sign for it and so forth and so forth. It needs to stop. It needs to stop.
I agree.
You finished with me now?
No. You have a few more minutes before we go to our break.
Okay. I barely heard some of your words your story that day about the laws, some things will be changed at the airport. If I tell you word for word, I'm lying to you. Anyhow, I don't know if I heard anything about a fingerprint machine going to be in that package of security and all that kind of stuff at the airport. But if it wasn't, I pray that they will bring that fingerprint machine. Because, Mr. Connor, let me tell you something. With everything happening all over the world, people are trickling down into the Cayman Islands, and those that was deported from here and there, they will end up here in Cayman and become a problem to us and the government.
But we realize that in order to do that, I mean, we can fingerprint persons who commit offenses here in the Cayman Islands, but we would have to get the agreement of other countries to share their criminal information with us so that we can have that in our database as well. Otherwise, we're only benefiting from those that we fingerprint here.
I agree with you 100%. So that's where we come in at working with the other authorities.
Yeah, Interpol and things like that, yeah.
That would be nice to have, because then, not because we're small and we're Caribbean, that we that stupid that we don't know what's going on, because we know what time of day it is. And we just got to reach our hand out and work with the rest of the world. If we can say on the news, on the radio some time ago, a politician, a premier said some years ago with my own ears, we better get with the program because we will be left behind. Well, I think we're being left behind with a fingerprint machine. So get involved with other countries so we'll know who's coming from, who's not coming to our country, and we can know who to send back.
And just for your information, also fingerprinting, while it is still extremely popular, that's also becoming a thing of the past because they're using other biometrics like the iris, in your eye, and things like that to. And facial recognition as opposed to fingerprinting as well. So, by the time we get fingerprinting, something else will be on the market.
Well, we got to get something. If it keep changing, don't stop until we get the right thing here.
Yeah.
We're going to need something here.
Okay. Thank you very much. Got to run. But the phone lines will be open until 1:30. Then we're going to have people from the Health Services Authority in with us. They're going to be talking about how to wisely use antibiotics. People are always taking antibiotics, and sometimes they don't necessarily follow instructions. So that should be pretty reasonable. And I'm also going to share the press release about the new egg facility that has been opened up at the Department of Agriculture to support local production as well. So once you've heard that, please feel free to call back. Phone lines will be open until 1:30. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, Talk Today will be back shortly.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Hey, Bobo, Tiri, cousin, everybody. I hear Cayman Airways celebrating their 57th anniversary by giving us the gifts, about 10 of them, because they got airfares on sale now for flights to every place they fly to next month through December. Look here, I going to book my flights now to go Galawantan this month with Cayman Airways. I'll see you there directly.
Catch your seat on sale by August 11th. Other conditions apply. Book on CaymanAirways.com, our new mobile app, or call us on 949-2311. Cayman Airways, celebrating 57 years as your award-winning, uniquely Caymanian airline.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Protect your computers and mobile devices with security software to defend against cyber attacks through viruses, malware, and other online threats. Be aware of unsecure Wi-Fi connections when in public. If you need to access your online banking or sensitive information on your mobile devices, try disabling the Wi-Fi and switching to data from your mobile network. If you suspect a fraud attempt, please contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Are you feeling overwhelmed, sad, stressed out, or suicidal and need support? Call 1-800 534-6463. K-Mind Mental Health Helpline. It's okay to ask for help. K-Mind Mental Health Helpline, available from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Monday to Friday. It's free and confidential support and guidance on your emotional and psychological health.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. I'm your guest host, Orrett Connor. We have a few callers on hold. We're going to the phone lines. Paul, what's up, or regular line? Regular line caller first. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Yeah, OC, good evening. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah. My good friend Jan talked about the fingerprint machine. I've been beating it. Well, OC, you know that too. Because when Dr. Frank was on there, we were talking about the same thing, and I got my personal thoughts on that. Why they don't want to get one in Cayman, because we might be the only spot that don't have. And everywhere that I travel, I see they got fingerprint machine. And there was a person a few months back on the next talk show was saying about Cayman can get the fingerprint machine, no problem, because Interpol doesn't have to share no information with anybody. And Interpol is right there in Barbados, and they can get the database from right there. So I do not know why. I mean, I wish some government official could come on to your show and explain, because everybody is talking about this fingerprint machine. Honduras got it, Jamaica got it, Cuba got it. What happened to Cayman? What is wrong with Cayman? And Dr. Matthews said, well, we do have a print machine. The police, that's not entering at the airport. That's only if you commit a crime or suspected of a crime. But to enter the island either by land, by port or by air, they're supposed to have a printing machine.
Mm-hmm.
They take off your hat and you do your fingers, and that would clear up a lot of criminals that we have in this island. I know we got a lot. That would clear up a lot. But why? I mean, a place like Cayman now that we are known around the world, and probably a lot of places that don't know still about Cayman Island. But because even lately, I was talking to somebody, and they said, well, where is that? And I had to try to explain to them where the Cayman Islands was. And they were from the Dominican Republic. And they were saying, well, where is the Cayman Islands? You know?
Mm-hmm. So, anyone who has to ask that question these days, they're probably somewhere in the backwoods.
Yeah, well, they got plenty of people in the backwoods.
Yeah.
But if you can get somebody on your show, some government official, to explain why, what happened to the one that they had before, but they never activated it, I would appreciate that. You have a good evening, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, caller, for that. Good question. Let's grab the next caller. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Mr. O.C.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Oh, not bad. It could be worse.
Mm-hmm. Talk to me.
I want to ask a question or two.
Okay.
Because I know you're a man of knowledge. You got a lot of knowledge and that sort of thing.
Thank you.
You know, Mr. O.C., a singer, musician, talented person, artist, etc. Worth a lot of money, you know. You know, because of having to do with their skills. Now, if I want to ask a question or two,
yeah, waiting for them to come.
If the artist singer has intellectual property and the intellectual property is destroyed, I mean, couldn't that be a potential lawsuit right there?
When you say it is destroyed, what do you mean?
I mean, actually destroying your work, your music, the rhythms, and all that sort of stuff.
So the person who produced it no longer has it, and someone else destroys it, or you
destroys or steals it, whatever.
Okay, steals it. Yeah, I mean that's where copyright issues come into effect, and we do have copyright laws here in the Cayman Islands where, we have had people on Radio Cayman, talking, about our patent and copyright laws that we have here in the Cayman Islands, intellectual property, where you can register your intellectual property, and can be done here in the Cayman Islands and lots of other jurisdictions where that can be done as well. Now, however, if it hasn't been registered, then that's when you leave yourself open and vulnerable, to someone then either claiming it or copying it without you getting the credit that you should get from it.
Because I mean, I did a lot of work, Mr. O.C., and my work was destroyed by some very nosy people.
Mm-hmm.
And even the documents that I had for my game, patenting my game, the game I invented, that was destroyed. The documents were destroyed. And these people.
But how did they get a hold of your documents?
Mr. O.C., they were so fierce to go into my place. I've been complaining about it, and I'm doing something about it now.
Mm-hmm.
And they do things to discredit you. They try to tell you who you are and what you're not. Discredit. That's all. Like is that when you try to discredit an artist actually interfering in their work and their progress. I mean, isn't that, I want to know, because I think I should go and see a lawyer about that, or another lawyer. Isn't that a potential lawsuit right there? That's why I need to speak. I'd like to talk to lawyers too,
Yeah, that's who you would have to talk to in relation to that, and present to them whatever evidence that you have. And of course, then it would probably mean civil proceedings as opposed to criminal proceedings.
Right, civil, because they actually almost wiped out every bit of work that I had, Mr. Connor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a good thing. I mean, I got 4 songs on the radio, but I mean, this interference and nosiness and forcefulness about these people have caused me to lose a lot of money,
mm-hmm.
and I'm still losing money, Mr. O.C.
Okay, yeah, I would say that you're on the right track in terms of your suggestion that you should speak to a lawyer and present what you have to see what remedies that you can pursue once you know who the culprits are.
Yes, sir, and the evidence is there too. The evidence is there, but apparently, the thing about it is, when you tell them that you can sue them, they still go ahead and do what they feel like doing. So, I don't know what to say, but I mean, the art, Caymanian art, has to be protected, and we can't just get. I don't have anything against foreigners, but
mm-hmm.
people can't just come here, Mr. O.C., and try to devalue people's art and music and stuff like that. And
I trust that you were listening to the Buzz this morning, because there was a very good shot in relation to that. So you would have, if you were listening there, you would have heard Mr. Wilson, Stuart Wilson, talk about, what he's pursuing as well. I'm going to ask you to leave me there, though, because we have to go to a commercial break. But if you didn't get a chance to listen this morning to that, you can certainly go back on YouTube and find a buzz and listen to what some of the advice that Mr. Stuart Wilson has given on there this morning as well. Caller, thank you. Thank you very much. We have to go to a commercial break, folks. Please stay tuned. Talk today. We'll be back shortly.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
There's something new at Subway. Indulge your taste buds with our new barbecue pork rib sandwich tender. Smoky pork ribs smothered in sweet and tangy barbecue sauce, built just the way you like it. It's bold, rich, and seriously satisfying. But hurry, it's here for a limited time only. Order now on the Subway Cayman Islands app for quick in-store pickup or get it delivered with Bento or Let's Eat. The all-new barbecue pork rib sandwich, only at Subway. Subway. Eat fresh.
Yummy.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your sister islands.
Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Start. Stop. That's how long it takes to react to a child crossing the street. How long would it take you to apply the brakes? How long would it take the parents to forgive you? How long would it take you to forgive yourself? Slow down. Save a life. Not only theirs, but your own. Texting, speeding, and ignoring safety rules can cost lives. Visit gov.ky/road safety to learn more and help keep our roads safe.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. No callers on hold, no callers. So this is an opportunity. I'm going to ask callers, just hold off for a few minutes. Let me share this good news with you. Saw this yesterday, but it was embargoed until sometime today. And new egg facility opens at the Department of Agriculture to support local production. The Ministry of Planning, Agriculture, Housing, Infrastructure, Transport and Development, in collaboration with the Department of Agriculture, is proud to announce the official opening of the Cayman Islands' first government-operated egg production facility. The newly unveiled facility is a key step in strengthening food security and supporting the growth of sustainable agriculture across the islands. Designed to bolster local egg production and reduce reliance on imports, the initiative aligns with the ministry's ongoing efforts to empower farmers and create resilient food systems. Minister Honorable J. Ebanks, who officially opened the facility, remarked, and I quote, "This is more than just an egg facility. This is an investment in our future. It demonstrates government's commitment to agricultural development, greater local food security, and support for Caymanian farmers. The egg facility will be used for 1. Demonstration and training purposes for local poultry farmers. 2. Supplying fertilized eggs to support backyard farming initiatives. 3. Enhancing national food resilience and agricultural education. In addition to supplying eggs, the facility is expected to offer technical support and workshops equipping Caymanians with the tools and knowledge to engage in small-scale poultry farming. Director of Agriculture, Mr. Wilbur Welcome, stated, and we want to say congratulations to him on his new appointment, Mr. Wilbur Welcome, as the new Director of Agriculture. He's quoted as saying, "This facility represents a long-term vision for the Department of Agriculture. It allows us to model best practices in poultry care, health, and productivity while supporting Cayman's broader food sustainable goals. The department will continue working closely with farmers, schools, and community partners to make local agriculture more accessible and viable." If you want more information on the egg production facility or to explore training and farming opportunities, you can contact the Department of Agriculture at area code 345-947-3090, or you can visit www.doa.gov.ky as well. And of course, they have also provided some photographs of the official opening of the facility as well, and that included the photographs with the Deputy Premier. I'm not sure if he's acting Premier still, Honorable Ruddy, and other personnel. Also, Minister Isaac Rankin in the photograph as well. Deputy Premier Gary Ruddy and others in the photograph as well. Okay, so that food egg production facility, welcomed, and hopefully one of these days that we will become less and less reliant on imported eggs. We know that there are several farmers who produce eggs here in the Cayman Islands as well, and we need to publicly acknowledge them, but not only that, let the public know that they do produce and where they can be located and what they have available as well. Okay, so I'm going to take issue now with this article written by Cayman News Service. Of course, seldom do they, I'll look at the end of it, seldom do they point out who the writer is, but I just don't like, I don't know if they call this a headline or byline, what it is called in the journalism. But anyway, here's how the article is headed up. Grow boxes up for grabs for backyard farmers. I take issue with the term up for grabs. When I read that, it almost reminds me of one U.S. president when there was a hurricane in Puerto Rico, the aftermath of a hurricane in Puerto Rico. And he was there throwing paper towels into the crowd. That appeared to be so demeaning. No, our grow boxes are not up for grabs. There is a process where people can either contact the Department of Agriculture or they can go online and put in their information to request those. They're not up for grabs as if, people out there are desperate for these, and also that there may be a limited supply. Maybe there is. Anyway, let me, in being fair to the Cayman News Service, let me share the article with you to see exactly what they say in there. They probably copied what came from the press release that was issued in this regard. So it starts, like I said, by saying grow boxes up for grabs for backyard farmers, which I take issue with. And then it reads, the Ministry of Agriculture has launched a pilot backyard garden program to encourage residents to start producing food in their yards. The new community initiative is aimed at increasing household level food security and sustainable gardening. A release from the ministry said those who wish to participate can apply for the free grow boxes, soil and seeds, as well as basic guidance to start their own food garden. The program is targeting Caymanians from all walks of life, including retirees, urban families, and eco-conscious young people. And there is a quote from the Minister J.E. Banks, we believe food security begins at home. By equipping individuals and families with the tools to grow even a small portion of their own produce, we're investing in a more resilient, self-sufficient future. So if this headline, grow boxes up for grabs for backyard farmers, was intended to attract people's attention to the article, I will say this to you, Cayman News Service. Yes, you did. You did attract this critic, because using the phrase up for grabs has, to me, a very negative connotation, extremely negative connotation. And when you then read the meat of your article, there's nothing in there that indicates that there's any desperation out there. And based on what you have said there, it didn't appear as if there was any limitation in terms of the amounts that could be provided in terms of the individuals who apply. So it is not up for grabs. It is an initiative that has been put forward by the minister and his ministry. There is no desperation involved. So again, I say to you, shame, shame, shame for using the phrase grow boxes up for grabs. With that, we have reached the top of the hour. We're going to go to our headline news. When we return, we will still have half an hour where the phone lines will be open. After that, we will have representatives at 1:30 from the Health Services Authority. Please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
We are Radio Cayman,
covering Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and Grand Cayman.
1 in a million. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
Radio Cayman Headline News, I'm Jevi Ebanks. Travis Anthony Boyd is currently facing 13 charges, including indecent assault, assault by penetration, sexual communication with a child, and inciting a child to engage in sexual activity. Mr. Boyd has pleaded not guilty to all charges. The Crown alleges that the offenses occurred between August 2021 and August 2022, during which time the complainant, now an adult, was between the ages of 13 and 15. Crown Counsel Martin Mulgrew presented the prosecution's opening statement to the jury on Monday. The trial continues in the main court building. In regional news, Suriname Justice Minister Harish Monarath has called reports of missing cash, cocaine, and valuables from the police force very serious. Around US $300,000, as well as 1.5 kilograms of cocaine, gold, and phones vanished from the narcotics squad. At Munder Station, over Surinese $3 million meant for a civil settlement went missing, with only 100,000 delivered. The Public Prosecution Service uncovered the losses during asset return procedures. Investigations into the matter are ongoing. Haitian media group SOS Journalists has raised alarm over charges against journalist Guerrera Henry, accused by the Central Directorate of the Judicial Police of gang affiliation, money laundering, and illicit enrichment. Henry denies the allegations, calling them politically motivated. SOS journalists demand fair treatment, citing past persecution, including an 8-month suspension of Henry's radio show. The group claims Henry is being targeted for his critical reporting and defends his interviews with gang figures as journalistic work, noting foreign journalists have done the same without interference. They call the case a threat to press freedom and vow to monitor the investigation closely. That's your latest headline news from the Radio Cayman newsroom. I'm Jevi Ebanks.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter. Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Do you have a healthcare question but not sure who to ask? Contact HSA's Patient Call Center to speak to one of our experienced clinical team members. We are here to answer your questions and help guide you through your healthcare journey. Need to make an appointment? Our team can help. Contact HSA at 949-8600 or email info@hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
As fate would have it, the early educational efforts of the islands were fostered on occasion by the arrival of shipwrecked seamen. The Sister Islands were no different, with the wreck of a mariner named Johnson whose ship wrecked on Cayman Brac in 1863. Johnson would start a school which serviced not only children but adults too. In 1881, Jamaican Henry Hewitt set up the private school in State Bay, charging 9 pence per week. As education pursuits grew, it would be the Baptist Church which would lead the charge given the growth of their congregations in the Sister Islands. Between 1896 and 1906, a large schoolhouse would be built in the chapel at the creek, along with State Bay and Little Cayman.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. We have several callers on hold, so let's start the conversation. First caller, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Mr. Jose?
Yes, sir.
I need to make an addition to the to what I said a couple minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
Because there has been a lot of very good people that have come to the Cayman Islands, a lot of good foreigners. You got a lot of good DJs. You got Mr. Henry Mutu, Mr. Dave Martin, the late Dave Martins, and a lot of good people who have protected Caymanian art. Mr. O.C.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the art is very, very valuable. As they were saying this morning on the radio, a single can bring in millions of dollars, unlimited amount of money, unlimited amounts. I made a lot of money from my music. Not as much. I mean, I could have made a lot. Well, it's still going on, but Mr. O.C., you know that they destroyed. I received an award for a play that I wrote too. A play that I received an honorable mention award back in the 1990s. And do you know that these people destroyed my award, Mr. O.C.?
So someone broke into your into your residence and destroyed them, or?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay.
Mr. O.C., they destroyed my award. I took a picture with Mr. Henry Mutu. And you know how valuable that picture is. Mr. Henry Mutu is no longer around here. And it was signed by some very important people. And it's so much more, Mr. O.C., that it's all because of people trying to tell you who you are.
Mm-hmm. I'm really sorry to hear that.
You know, there was a time, Mr. O.C., where I don't like the fame like I used to, not really, but I used to be in the newspapers and on the TV and all that about art and different things. And I try not to even mention my name anymore because I just don't like too much attention on top of me unless I try to keep it controlled. But Mr. O.C., they almost wiped out everything I had. I got to thank God. There's a special DJ that I look up to. I mean, I always tell him, oh, let me tell you, I'm really thankful for you. He protected my art. After I recorded a couple songs, I brought it straight to the radio station. And I don't want to say too much about it, but it's my music is protected. I had to give it to other people to protect my music and sort of thing, you know. But those people, Mr. O.C., they almost wiped out everything that I had. My prototype, my prototype game, they wanted to destroy it. And now these are when you're talking about important poverty now, these are the kind of people now that we bring here or that come here and don't seem to even recognize. I mean, how can you see an award? It had, there's still hope, an award. Now, how can you throw that away or destroy it, Mr. O.C.? They didn't want me to get anywhere. They didn't want me to get anywhere, Mr. O.C. And people, I asked the government, I know Mr. Rankin, I believe in him too. I believe in the Honorable Isaac Rankin. I believe that he is one person that will help to protect Caymanian art in the Cayman Islands and protect us as artists.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be protected, Mr. O.C., because there are people who want to destroy what we have and destroy every dollar that you have, Mr. O.C., and make you keep spending money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So,
all right.
So, yes, sir. So I just wanted to say that part too.
Okay.
Those other people were different kind of foreigners that came here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Destroyed my work, but I got to speak about the good foreigners that came here, Mr. Henry Mutu, Mr. Dave Martins.
Exactly. Yeah.
A lot of DJs that came to Cayman and stuff like that. You know, they have been protecting Cayman, and so I got to speak good about
Thank
it.
you. Thank you very much, caller. Thank you very much for that. Let's grab another caller. I think we still have about 2 or 3 on hold. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Yeah, good afternoon, Osi, our darling brother. How are you?
I am fine. I'm fine. How are you?
In gold in the hottest fire and shining. You know, and Osi, the robots. You mean the finally dropping down? Yeah.
Sorry.
You remember our top ancestors that Christmas time they never drunk an ounce of liquor, but when it came to Christmas time, they would grab each other and do one walk over. They would be screaming, crying when they would kill themselves. You think the robots can take them on?
I don't know. Not sure.
And you know where they are? In heaven, baby.
Okay.
It's like mankind going to heaven.
Yep.
That's right, baby. And when he tell you, like he told me, he said, I created you to take care of you. He said, worry not, I will fight for you. And so how he's doing.
That is great to know. That is really, really good to know. Yes.
Look, he said, worry not. Don't you worry a bit. Take your Bible and you pray. And also, as a matter of fact, if you close enough,
Hello? I think, Paul, we lost that caller. Let's grab the next caller. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Yes, Mr. Connor.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. I'm trying to finish up my list of questions.
Okay.
Mr. Connor, I want to talk a little bit about the prison, the woman prison and the men prison.
Mm-hmm.
You know, years ago, we used to bring those guys out and they would help us keep the streets clean and so forth and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
But anyhow, that's been taken away for what reason, I don't know. And
I think that there were terrible experiences there. We know there was a loss of life in one particular situation with a work release program, and being able to police it. Sometimes I think they look at their low-risk prisoners to put them out there, but they're all accusations about drugs being brought back into the prison while they were out there and stuff like that. So I think the risks were greater than the rewards, why that program was stopped.
I'm sorry to hear that, but you know, drugs are so, but that's not, yeah. But you know what? Want to talk about what costing the government to keep these people into the women and the men prison. The cost that is costing them on a monthly or yearly basis is, I think it's more than what they can write the figure on a piece of paper or a check to give whoever have to give it to. But why I say that to say this is, you know, we got a lot of people out here that doesn't have any insurance, don't have no dental, can't get no dental care, and can't get no vision care due to the lack of probably unemployment, or they just can't afford it, even if they're employed and they just can't afford it, because you know some insurance are very minimum depending on the type of insurance you have. So I say that to say this. We got the prisoners in there, and they are getting the vision, medical, and physical whenever it's necessary. They're well taken care of in there, and when I say well taken care of, there ain't no water running on their shoulders, and they're getting their meals, and they can go to the doctor or to the dentist or the vision when it's time to go to these places, with them being inside there. And I wonder if any government is looking in to see where they can cut back on some of this expense that these prisoners are getting. And if we got prisoners here from other parts of the world that committed a crime and they're here serving 5, 6 years or 10 years or lifetime, is some law that they can look into that at some point in time and I use the word deport them back to their country and have them on a list here if they was to ever try to enter back into the Cayman Island. Seriously, Mr. Connor.
But would we then be treating the foreign prisoner different from the Caymanian prisoner who we then still would keep them incarcerated while we deport the others who have committed similar offenses?
Well, some Caymanians that has been in there has been released here and there from time to time. And if we got some in there that has got a little minimum and they're there for drugs or something that category, do something about getting them back into the working world to maintain their family left behind. I know it's a ticklish situation. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to use any wrong word right now in regards to this little conversation that we're trying to have. I'm not saying to penalize one and set one free. You understand? But if majority of these people is from another country and it's costing us all this money, and Mr. Connor, in time to come, we're not going to be able to maintain the way that we're maintaining right now with this, the women's section and the men's section in the prison, with the cost of living, and to maintain those guys, and they're just there sitting down. I understand they probably do some courses up there, and I understand they do some farming and they make things and it's being sold. That's all good and well. That is all good and well. Nothing against that, but the fact of the matter is, how long our governments with a capital S on it going to be able to continue doing what we're doing with our prisoners in there with a luxurious life to a degree that they're getting? The only thing about them, they're not going home at the end of the night, but they're living off the hog to a degree, living off of your tax money and my tax money. I think that something needs to be looked into to see how they can minimize our prison, because then they're not upgrading, none of them, and they got no intentions to, apparently. And the Caymanian little young guys ends up in there, and they comes back out, and some of them comes out and say that they'd rather be in there than be on the main street, because then they get better treatment. And I laugh about this one. They get better treatment in the prison. But then they need a life to support themselves, because then if they don't get them to instill independency in them, in workforce, and kindness and love and all that kind of stuff, they will always come out here and rob people and all that kind of stuff. You understand? I could probably be saying this all wrong. I don't want to say some words that don't even fit the conversation or sound like I am biased or in any category. But I am looking at the cost of living for our government to continue to maintain our prisons and maintain in NAU, social service, and employments of the government departments and the hospitals and the dental places. You understand where I'm coming from?
Of course, there are some who will say and will argue that while it may be costly to incarcerate dangerous criminals, it may be even more costly if they're on the loose, if they're let out.
Yes, but I am not saying on the loose if they're not from here for them to be deported to their own country. It's just like someone that comes here from the Philippines and has no patriation to get back home. Then they come out here and ask for a support of people to donate money to try to get this body back home, dead or alive, if they're having problems and all that kind of stuff. That's what I'm talking about to a degree too. I don't think I'm getting this across to you.
No, you're getting it across. What I don't understand though is that when you talk about deporting them, are you talking about just simply sending them back to their home country, or are you talking about sending them back to serve the remainder of their sentence in their home country? Because there's a difference between the two, and we should bear in mind that no country really wants to take their criminals back as well, and that would require an agreement, bilateral agreement between the Cayman Islands and whatever country we're sending them to.
I understand everything you just saying. I agree that they go back to their country and either be put in prison there, or they let them free, make them room in their own country. But you see, that's what I'm talking about right now. We got people all over the world now being sent back to their country, and they're not even thinking twice about sending them back home to a degree and what kind of criminals they was and so forth. So the words you just said in regards to being let loose on the streets, being not be able to oh, I'm driving, I'm lost, I'm losing for words. But in other words, then it's okay for us to keep them in prison here, but the rest of the world can send the other ones back to their country. But we are compelled to keep them here in prison until their time is up, or the time is never up through probably death. God forgive. That is how I'm supposed to understand this. That's how it is. I don't know. I'm just asking.
No, well, the point is that if they commit a crime in the Cayman Islands, we have laws, and those laws are applicable to everyone, resident, Caymanian, non-Caymanian, non-resident as well. They're all applicable. There are arrangements in sometimes for persons to serve their sentences in other countries. But I don't believe that there is any buy-in at this point in time to simply deport persons who have committed criminal offenses just to get them, off the Cayman Islands. Because then if we're going to do that for them, then we have to do the same thing for our Caymanian criminals.
Mr. O.C., I'm here by the market. I'm having a problem with a laid up in my face. I don't know what problem.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go now anyway. I think we have other callers on hold. Okay. Okay, Paul. One caller. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Yeah, O.C., me again. Sorry.
That's okay. Don't feel sorry.
I was running from that topic about the prison because Donald Trump don't care who he is. That is his country, and the part with that, see how much it is now a year for one prisoner in Northwood, out of 60,000 or more.
I think the last thing that I heard was somewhere in the 70,000.
Boy, so 10 of them prisoners for a year. How much that is to Cayman to sale? I can't figure no more than.
It's not as black and white as you think it is. It's not just about saving money. What in the world, what is the use of us having laws and penalties if we're not going to enforce them? If a person knows that they commit an offense in the Cayman Islands and all they're going to do is get a slap on the wrist and be sent home, is that what we want?
But see, if the part with that, whatever they do in their country, this is our country, and we saving money. That could help the budget, That money can help the budget that we talking about right now. 10 of them prisoners for a year in Northwood. How much money the government save? It's all about saving money.
So what about all the victims that they as well? What do we say to the victims of these crimes when we let these people go? What do we say to them? If I sound a little bit agitated, you're absolutely right, because I'm getting a little bit frustrated with this argument that's being put forward.
Yeah, but see, that's where the fingerprint would come in. That would save the Cayman Islands from...
The fingerprinting not going to save you, from someone who has a criminal intent, who comes here with no criminal record, but then ends up committing an offense in the Cayman Islands and ends up in Northwood prison. That's a different story, different argument altogether. Let's not conflate them.
Yeah, okay then, okay, but I look at it a different way.
Yeah, I do too.
Saving the government, because we need money now. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. Any other callers on hold? One caller. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome. Okay, why don't we take the break now so that we can get our guests in the studio? Paul, you want to do that? Okay, folks. So right now the phone lines are going to be closed because we will have representatives from the Health Services Authority. We will be talking about using antibiotics wisely. Please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Did you know ordering your favorite sandwich from Subway just got easier? Yeah, picture this. No more waiting in line. No more fussing with cash. Just a delicious taste of Subway at your fingertips. With our new app, ordering your go-to sub is as easy as a few taps on your phone. Plus, receive exclusive deals and earn loyalty points with every purchase made on the app. Download the new Subway app today and get ready to ditch the lines and drive straight into your flavor. Visit the App Store or Google Play Store on your mobile phone and search for Subway Cayman Islands. Subway. Eat fresh.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Hey, Bobo, Tiri, cousin, everybody. I hear Cayman Airways celebrating their 57th anniversary by giving us the gifts, about 10 of them. Because they got airfares on sale now for flights to every place they fly to next month through December. Look here, I go and book my flights now to go Galawantan this month with Cayman Airways. I'll see you directly.
Catch your seat on sale by August 11th. Other conditions apply. Book on CaymanAirways.com, our new mobile app, or call us on 949-2311. Cayman Airways, celebrating 57 years as your award-winning, uniquely Caymanian airline.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drportercayman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
Are you a Caymanian job seeker? Work urges Caymanians to use the Work Jobs portal, the only platform that allows Work to verify that Caymanians are being considered first, as the law requires. You can browse job listings across a wide range of sectors and apply directly from the portal. Register today by visiting work.ky. That's worc.ky, or email customer care at worc@gov.ky for assistance. Don't miss your chance. Your career opportunity could just be a few clicks away.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. To our listeners and our viewers, the phone lines are closed at this point in time. The topic that we will be discussing is using antibiotics wisely. And if you have any questions or comments, we're asking that you send them in to us on our WhatsApp number. That number is 925-3261. If time allows, we will open up the phone lines as well to talk exclusively about this subject of antibiotics and how they should be used wisely as well. Of course, I'm not a pharmacist and I'm not a doctor, so you won't be getting any advice from me, but you will be getting advice from pharmacists, Miss Ramon Gale, microbiologist, Dr. Camille Blake, and also Dr. Glenn D. Reynolds. Ladies, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Good afternoon.
And firstly, I'm going to ask each of you to introduce yourselves and tell our listening and our viewing audience. And of course, yes, you are on YouTube. So if your colleagues want to watch afterwards, they get an opportunity to go back on Radio Cayman or our site, our app, and they can watch you, or you can go back and watch yourself as well. So let's tell our listening and our viewing audience what you do at the Health Services Authority.
Okay, Ramon, you want to start?
Okay. Ramon, okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ramon Gale, and I'm a clinical pharmacist at the Cayman Islands Health Services Authority.
Okay, and explain to us what a clinical pharmacist is. I know about a pharmacist, but a clinical one?
So essentially, there are different types of clinical pharmacists. So I actually focus on oncology as well as hematology. But there are other clinical pharmacists, for example, those who work in the inpatient setting. We have clinical pharmacists who are also diabetic educators. So essentially, it's a pharmacist who has gone on to do further training and has specialized in specific areas in pharmacy.
Okay, that's good to know. So what we see on television all the time with the person with the little thing separating the pills and stuff like that, there's more to it than just that. Huh? Okay, next.
Hi, good afternoon, listeners. I'm a medical microbiologist, which means that by training, we go to medical school, become regular practitioners, but then we do subsequent postgraduate training specifically in organisms that are small. So that'd be bacteria, viruses, and fungi, and understanding how they contribute to human health, how to diagnose them, and how to treat them.
Okay.
And I'm Glendy Reynolds. I'm also a medical microbiologist. So, of course, I do the same things that Camille does. Yes.
Okay. And how long have you been at the Health Services Authority?
I've been with the Cayman Islands Health Services Authority for 18 years.
Wow.
I originally started working at the HSA in approximately 2013. I went to do my postgraduate training and came back in 2021.
Okay.
And I just started in 2022, so 3 years? Yeah, thereabout.
Okay, so let's get into the meat of the discussion now. Let's talk about antibiotics, what they are and how do they work.
Okay. Well, an antibiotic falls under the category of what we call an antimicrobial. So an antimicrobial, first of all, is any drug that is designed to stop or slow the growth of microbes. And it's categorized, therefore, now into the drugs that will treat bacteria, those that treat viruses, those that treat fungi or parasites. So an antibiotic is, therefore, that group that falls under antimicrobials that will fight the bacteria. So it fights it in the sense of it may kill it completely, or it may slow its growth or its which I shouldn't use the word replication, its growth. And therefore, the patient now has the opportunity to get better from their infection.
Okay. Anyone else wants to add to that?
Certainly. So antibiotics, like Dr. Reynolds said, can target specifically bugs, specifically bacteria. And these antibiotics are not appropriate for treating anything except bacteria. So if you have an infection caused by anything else, such as a parasite or a virus like the flu, antibiotics unfortunately will not be able to help you in that event.
Okay. And are there various antibiotics that target particular viruses?
So there are antibiotics that target particular bacteria. And if you were speaking about viruses, you'd need to use an antiviral.
Okay.
So
I probably just used the wrong word.
No, that is absolutely fine. It's something that we actually have to constantly remind ourselves about, because the notion is that once it is something that can treat infection, it can treat all types of infections. And unfortunately, that can lead to one of the things we're here to discuss, which is a resistance of the bacteria to antibiotics. So this is a very important thing for us to thrash out and to understand the difference between the drugs, what each drug treats, and which drug is inappropriate based on the type of infection you may have.
Okay, let's talk about the commonality. How common is it for people in the Cayman Islands to seek antibiotics without a prescription? And You're looking at a guilty party right here.
Okay. Well, we all want to use antibiotics because I think we've all had the experience where you have the flu.
Mm-hmm.
We know that the flu symptoms will probably last you about 5 days. By day 2, you start to feel very bad, You feel pretty knackered. You feel out of sorts. And you will go to someone seeking antibiotics at that point in time. By the time you start the antibiotics, you start to feel better. But we know that you would have recovered anyway by the end of the 5 days. As it relates to the number of persons who will come to the pharmacy to seek antibiotics without a prescription, I'm not sure, because a lot of the times my work role is in the laboratory, so I wouldn't be able to tell you what that first-hand experience is like. But I do know, just from interacting with family members, friends, that people oftentimes seek antibiotics even when it's not appropriate for the condition they have.
So what I can say on that note is in regards to a person seeking antibiotics without a prescription, we know that with the HSA, all medications require a prescription.
Mm-hmm.
So we would have to look towards the private sector, and I'm sure persons do go to the private pharmacies making that request. But by law, we're not allowed to provide antibiotics for patients without a prescription. So it's important for patients to seek medical advice if it is that they are of the opinion that they need additional treatment, for example, antibiotics, or just an assessment to determine what exactly is happening with the patient, because they may think it's one thing that is happening, but when an investigation is done, it could actually be something else that is happening.
Mm-hmm.
And that is why it is so important for persons not to share medications, because one person in the household may have gone to the doctor and they may have obtained antibiotics. Another person in the household may say, well, I have similar symptoms, but despite having similar symptoms, more may actually be happening with that person. Additionally, they may also have what we call comorbidities. So essentially that means that that person may also have other conditions. So for example, they may have hypertension or diabetes, or more may be happening with them, or they may actually have an allergy. So it's really a risk when someone takes it on themselves to go out seeking antibiotics or to try to get, antivirals, as we heard earlier, because antimicrobials includes antibiotics, antivirals, antiparasitics. So for persons to go and try to get these without medical advice, it's not recommended. And on that note, it's also important not to try to import these products into the island. And as we know, according to the Pharmacy Act of 2024, there are guidelines that tells us who can actually import products, or even antibiotics into the island. So someone cannot say, okay, I'm not feeling well, or my friend has told me in another country about a medication or an antibiotic that has worked for them, and so they're going to take it on themselves to go ahead and import this medication. They could be going on a path that's not recommended, and that's essentially going outside of the recommendations of the law. So it's very, very important, if it is that someone is not feeling well, to seek medical advice.
Mm-hmm. And I would just add to that to say that we see more and more of that importation taking place, people bringing it in personally, especially from Central American countries, and you will have friends or family members tell you, "Oh, this works great. This, this will cure this. This will cure that." So, how irresponsible is someone in a pharmacy or in a drugstore when they will prescribe something to an individual who does not have a written prescription, for that. Simpler person goes in and says, I'm having, difficulty with this, that, or the other. Can you recommend something? But they recommend something that really should be dispensed.
Okay, so on that note, in terms of what can and cannot be dispensed by a pharmacist, so a pharmacist is allowed within a certain remit to dispense some products that are over-the-counter medications.
Okay.
But if it is that there are medications that are classified as prescription-only items, antibiotics, and antivirals falls under that classification. And so it would be important, and as you mentioned, in terms of responsibility, all patients have a responsibility to ensure that they're going through the correct channels to ensure that they obtain their prescription medications from a pharmacist and not just going to a friend or trying to outsource it from other areas. So it's really important for persons in the community to understand the risks that are involved with trying to get medications that have not been prescribed by a physician, particularly antibiotics.
Okay, we're going to get to this tongue twister terminology. Antimicrobial resistance. Antimicrobial resistance. What is that? I can't even pronounce it.
Oh, don't worry about that. So antimicrobial resistance is when you have a bacteria that has been exposed to antibiotics, and because of this exposure, what bacteria will do is they'll try to fight. They need to survive, just like humans, we try to survive. So they will try to survive, and in their efforts to survive, they will develop various mechanisms to escape the effect of the antibiotic. When they do that, we call it antimicrobial resistance. So they'll evolve. So instead of the antibiotic being able to treat them by possibly opening their cell walls, they will now develop a different type of protein to replace that protein that was initially susceptible to that particular antibiotic. And it's very interesting the manner in which bacteria are able to evolve. The evolution occurs very, very quickly. It can occur within a short course in a patient, or it can occur over a long period of time. But the gist of the matter is when this does occur, you increase your risk of having a prolonged hospital stay. You may actually fail treatment. Your healthcare costs go up significantly, or you may end up with, after healing, you may end up with a lot of comorbid effects as a result of being sick for so long. So that's antimicrobial resistance.
Okay, and for our laypersons out there, comorbidity, can you put that in layman's language for us?
Absolutely. I think a lot of people are familiar with long COVID. So you've been sick, you recover. All of the lab tests and everything said that you've recovered, but you have not gone back to where you were at stage 1. And usually the older we get, the less reserves our body has, and the less likely it is for us to bounce back from any kind of insult. And the body is the same way, whether it is a viral infection or a bacterial infection. It will take you a little while for your immune system to build up back to where it was before, for you to start to feel like yourself again.
Okay, so doctor, why should we then be concerned about AMR?
Well, what I'd add is that bacteria actually believe that sharing is caring. So if one organism develops resistance to an antibiotic, it will share those resistance genes, that's the genetics that make up the organism, with other bacteria. So let's say you were previously ill with a virus, you got an antibiotic, you didn't need it. Now the bacteria in your gut have learned how to circumvent that antibiotic. So the next time around that you're actually sick now with a bacteria and need that antibiotic, it won't be able to work for you because the organisms in your system have already learned how to not respond to that drug. So therefore, you're going to end up now with infections that you may not be able to treat. And that's a serious problem. It may be just to 1 drug, 2 drugs, but we're seeing bacteria that's resistant to 20 different drugs.
Oh, wow.
So you have to be very careful about that. You would never want for a point in time you have an illness and you can't treat it. We say we're heading back towards the pre-antibiotic era in the early 30s, etc., because the first antibiotic was developed around the time of World War I. And quite soon thereafter, the bacteria learned how to be resistant. That first drug was penicillin. I'm sure everybody has heard of penicillin, right? So 1, you may end up with bacteria that you can't treat. 2, you're going to end up having to use more expensive drugs. So that's a problem. And sometimes, as Dr. Blake mentioned, sometimes you're on prolonged therapy, you're in prolonged hospitalization, and your body just doesn't get the chance to bounce back the way it ought to. The longer you stay in hospital, the more exposed you are to more bacteria and more infections and just a myriad of things that can go wrong because your system just isn't able to function. What else are some of the bad effects of antimicrobial resistance? You can now end up let's say, passing these bugs on to other persons. And suppose it is, let's say you had a bug, it's now probably become a part of you. So you're no longer sick from it, but it now colonizes you. You know, like when the colonizers came to the island.
They're still here.
So this bug now lives with you.
Let's not go there.
Yeah, let's not go there. So this bug now lives with you and it's a part of you, but it doesn't make you sick anymore. But grandma is at home and grandma has diabetes or hypertension, and you're helping grandma's, help her with her wound she may have had for a long time, and you pass that organism on. Grandma's immune system is not like yours and may not respond well, may not heal well, take a longer time to get better, and possibly we may end up having to take off grandma's foot because we don't have anything to treat that infection with. So the risk of passing on something like that to somebody else is a real one. It happens, and it's something that we need to be aware of.
Okay, ladies, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we want to talk about why is it so dangerous to take antibiotics without a doctor's prescription. And I know you touched upon it earlier, but we want to dive a little deeper into that as well. Folks, please stay tuned. Talk today. We'll be back shortly.
Hungry? Need Subway any time of the day?
Yeah.
We've got you covered. Subway at Anderson Square, Centennial Towers, and Countryside Shopping Village is open 24/7, serving up fresh, delicious subs anytime you need them. And for your weekend cravings, West Shore Center is also open 24 hours on Friday nights and until 1 a.m. on Saturdays, because it's never too late for a great meal. Skip the line and order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app, or get your favorites delivered straight to your door with Bento and Let's Eat. Fresh, fast, and always here when you need us. Subway. Eat fresh.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Hey, Bobo, TD, cousin, everybody. I hear Cayman Airways celebrating their 57th anniversary by giving us the gifts, about 10 of them, because they got airfares on sale now for flights to every place they fly to next month through December. Look here, I go and book my flights now to go Galawantan this month with Cayman Airways. I'll see you directly.
Catch your seat on sale by August 11th. Other conditions apply. Book on CaymanAirways.com, our new mobile app, or call us on 949-2311. Cayman Airways, celebrating 57 years as your award-winning, uniquely Caymanian airline.
Hey folks, thanks for your patience. We'll be taking off very shortly. Should be wheels up in about 40 minutes. And due to a bumpy ride, snacks and beverage service has been suspended. AC has given us some trouble. Sorry folks. And Wi-Fi is out. And so is the entertainment. Yeah, I'm sorry about the smell, folks. We are aware.
I know.
Just one more quick note. We are going to have to deplane.
Come on! We're like the plane ride that isn't a nightmare. CG Britgay. Good like that.
Storms bring wind, rain, and unexpected costs to buy supplies, secure your home, or make minor repairs. Incidental expenses not covered by insurance. Until now, with Cineco's parametric coverage, you get automatic payouts within 2 to 3 weeks of a Category 3 or stronger hurricane, whether or not you have damage. Available only through Cineco's homeowners insurance. Visit Cineco.ky to get a quote today. Cineco, keeping Cayman covered.
time to take advantage of the August RAM water tank sale. Buy 2 600-gallon water tanks and get one free with 50% off shipping. Buy 2 1,000-gallon water tanks and get half off the third. Save on rising costs and help prevent erosion and flooding. RAM water tanks boast superior strength, made to withstand harsh conditions and impact resistance. Order your RAM water tank today. Call 925-3822. RAM water tanks, built to last a lifetime.
This summer, Cayman is growing something special. The Backyard Garden Program is here, bringing free grow boxes, seeds, and soil right to your doorstep.
Whether you've got a backyard, a porch, or a balcony, any space can be a space to grow. Food security starts with your first plant.
Apply today. Let's grow healthier, greener Cayman together.
Visit gov.ky/PAHI or contact the Department of Agriculture to learn more.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. I am your guest host, Orrett Connor. I welcome you to join us in the conversation. We're talking about using antibiotics wisely. If you have any questions or comments, please send them in to us at our WhatsApp number, 925-3261. I am sure that there are some of you out there who are just like the person who's talking to you now, who take those little shortcuts, and we'll be talking about those, as well. You have been prescribed an antibiotic and you should take the full course, but you start to feel better and you say, well, let me save the rest of this until the next time when I feel bad. We're going to be talking about all of those things as well with the good folks from the Health Services Authority. And I want to say to you that many of you go to our hospital, go to the Health Services Authority, and you see a doctor, but there are lots of things going on behind the scenes, as well. You may even see the pharmacist, but there's so much going on in the background, behind the scenes. And some of those persons working behind the scenes are Dr. Glendy Reynolds and Dr. Camille Blake. They are microbiologists at the Health Services Authority. And of course, we have our clinical pharmacist, I get that right? Yes, Miss Ramon Gale as well. So before we went to the commercial break, we said that we would be discussing why is it so dangerous to take antibiotics without a doctor's prescription? Okay, who wants to take that on?
Okay. As we alluded to earlier when Ms. Gill was speaking, there are certain things. So any drug that you take comes with a risk and a benefit. Everything. Even oxygen. Even when we give you oxygen in the hospital, it comes with a risk and a benefit. Therefore, when you take antibiotics without properly being assessed and seen by a clinician who has determined that the benefits outweigh the risk, you've taken onto yourself a really big responsibility. We have antibiotics that we know are associated with not just simple things like rashes or diarrhea, but there are antibiotics that we have available to us that can actually cause renal failure, heart impairment. It can cause rupture of your tendons and your muscles. So antibiotics are not a Tic Tac. They may be cute and they may look like a Tic Tac.
or a Ricola.
But they have significant side effects. Now, this is not to scare anybody away from using drugs when they're indicated, but it's to bring home how important it is that these drugs not be used when they're not indicated. Because you'll take the antibiotic and you actually will not feel any better. So you've exposed yourself to additional risk with no benefit. And like Ms. Gale said earlier, there are people who will have allergies. And you may know that you're allergic to penicillin, but you may be unaware that the particular antibiotic that's being given to you is a relative of penicillin, right? And your body does not know that they have different names. They're made by different manufacturers. Your body sees a part of that antibiotic that looks just like that thing that causes it to react. And we call that cross-reactivity. And the body will have a very florid or overacting response. And this response can end up with you being unable to breathe. Your tongue might swell, your airway might cut off, you may be covered in wheals. Those are rashes that are pronounced and they're kind of thick, very tender looking. You may end up having to be intubated, which is where we put a tube into the throat to breathe for you. And some people, unfortunately, never recover when they go into what we call anaphylactic shock. So antibiotics are fantastic drugs. They save lives every year. They've been saving lives since we've had public access to them in the 60s. But they come with serious risks, and we want everybody listening to understand that today. So do not take antibiotics when they're not indicated.
Yes. So
and how quickly can these manifest themselves in terms of the reactions? Yeah.
So reactions vary. So some patients may have an immediate reaction to an antibiotic. Others may have what you call a delayed reaction. So delayed can take several days. So it really varies depending on the patient. But an important point for us to note is in terms of doses of antibiotics. So, for example, if there are several children in a household and one child has been brought to the doctor and that child receives a dose of an antibiotic, you cannot assume that the dose, say, for example, of the younger child, so let's say one child is 10 years old and one is 5, you cannot assume that the dose for the 5-year-old child will be a half of the dose of the 10-year-old child. So it's really important when we refer to wise use of antibiotics not to be sharing antibiotics. And as Dr. Blake mentioned earlier, you can have adverse effects. And also, doses can also vary if a patient has impaired kidney function, meaning that if their kidneys are not working as effectively as another person in the household and they go and take the same dose, it can be a problem. Also, if a patient has liver impairment, we have to take that, or meaning something is wrong with their liver, it's not functioning as effectively as it should. Those are also points that we need to take into consideration. So sometimes persons may say, they're doing it from their heart. They're just being genuine. They're just trying to help that person. But in trying to help that person, they may actually make things worse for that person. And that effect may linger on with that person for the rest of their life. So that person may end up being hospitalized. That person, it can be detrimental. So sometimes you're trying to help, but it may really be a negative effect that, or a negative outcome from sharing or trying to help with antibiotics. So again, the importance of seeing a physician.
In about 3 minutes, we're going to go to our headline news. But in the meantime, can we talk about self-medication and maybe even home remedies as well? Because we know in the Caribbean, we are famous for, home remedies.
Well, I can safely say that I have relatives that as soon as you sniffle will indicate that you need some kind of home remedy, right? And while some of them actually do help to relieve some of the symptoms, they are not designed per se to actually kill organisms. So you cannot always depend on it. And depending on which organism is affecting you, you can't always depend on the home remedies alone to help get you better. So it's always good, even if you decide to try your home remedies, if you see it's not working, get to a physician to make sure you get a proper assessment to see what's actually wrong, and if you may need some other drugs to help your home remedies along.
I just would like to add to Dr. Reynolds' point that some of these home remedies, like these herbal teas, for example, may have effects on the liver.
Right.
And may actually make your body clear the antibiotics faster, or make your body too slow to clear the antibiotics. So it can have, either way, it can go either or. So it's very important that if you're doing anything that is unusual, you're, boiling any teas in your backyard, etc., to speak with your local pharmacist. Give them a call. They are experts in drugs, and they can tell you what is likely to interact with the medications that you have been prescribed.
Okay, Paul, you ready for the headline news now? Not ready yet, so we can talk, some more before we go to our headline news. Now, we've already spoke about the importation of antibiotics from other countries and why it may be unsafe and even illegal as well. But any additional advice you want to give to persons who may have the thought of, or someone who may be introduced to some antibiotic by a friend or a family member that they may have received from some other jurisdiction?
Okay, so if persons have received medications from another jurisdiction and they're planning on importing it from another jurisdiction, it's important, I would say, to seek medical advice. That would be my recommendation because, again, as we highlighted earlier, there may be adverse effects. The medications that they are trying to import may not be effective, and they're also not licensed to be importing medications into the country. And just a point to note, according to the WHO, when in 2020, what was revealed was that 1 in 5 cases of persons who had a urinary tract infection, that 1 in 5 case was actually not as susceptible to antibiotics, and the antibiotics that were reviewed were the fluoroquinolones, cotrimoxazole, as well as ampicillin. So essentially what happened is the statistics revealed that because there are so many cases of misuse of antibiotics or overuse of antibiotics, persons are not responding as well. So therefore, if it is that you have any thought of carrying in any medications, check first with your pharmacist to ensure that it is safe for you to do so, which more than likely it is not. You would need a prescription. So again, the point for everyone to remember is seek medical advice before taking antibiotics. Do not share antibiotics.
And you can't necessarily rely on the labeling as well.
Because I wanted to add, sometimes you may get drugs from a particular jurisdiction, let's call it that, and it's contaminated with other things because it's not made in a factory or a facility that is appropriately equipped to do that. And sometimes too, you may want, let's say, 100 milligrams of a drug in this tablet, but because they're cutting corners, you only get 20 milligrams. So you may think you're taking a full dose when you're not. The rest of it is chalk. So it's very important to actually ensure that the drugs that you're taking are from the appropriate facility, they've gone through the appropriate checks, and what you're actually putting into your body is good for your body.
Excellent. With that, we're going to go to our headline news. Please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Since 1976.
Covering Grand Cayman, Little Cayman, Cayman right. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk Market.
Radio Cayman Headline News, I'm Jevi Ebanks. Selvin Bailey has been convicted in the Grand Court on charges of rape and indecent assault following a jury trial. The jury returned guilty verdicts on all counts, and Bailey was immediately taken into custody at HMP Northward. He now awaits sentencing with a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison. Before sentencing is handed down, the courts has ordered the preparation of social inquiry reports and victim impact statements, a process expected to take approximately 8 weeks. Once those reports are completed and both the Crown and defense have made their sentencing submissions, Bailey will return to court to learn his fate. In regional news, in Guyana, President Ifran Ali has paid tribute to veteran educator and election candidate Daniel Williams, who collapsed and died Monday night while campaigning in Region 7. Williams, headmaster of the 3 Mile Secondary School, was rushed to the Bartica Hospital and pronounced dead. An autopsy is pending, with reports suggesting a possible heart attack. Ali praised Williams' 30 years of service in education and pledged to honor his legacy through continued development efforts in Region 7. Prime Minister Gaston Brown has defended Antigua and Barbuda's ties with China following the signing of a U.S. $14 million grant and Blue Economy Feasibility Agreement. Prime Minister Brown praised China's consistent support in areas like climate resilience, infrastructure, and healthcare, calling Beijing a reliable and principled partner that respects sovereignty without geopolitical pressure. The grant will fund water pipe replacements, housing, agriculture, and solar energy projects. A feasibility study will explore sustainable marine development under the Blue Economy Initiative. China's ambassador Zhang Yangling said the agreement reflects high-level cooperation and shared goals for peace and sustainable growth. That's your latest headline news from the Radio Cayman newsroom. I'm Jevi Ebanks.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Radio Cayman Talk Today continues.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. My pleasure to have in the studio with me this afternoon representatives from the Health Services Authority. We're talking about using antibiotics wisely. That conversation is taking place with Dr. Glendy Reynolds, Dr. Camille Blake. They are both microbiologists, and pharmacist, Ms. Ramon Gale. So one of our listeners has written and asked the question, I guess it's maybe rhetorical. Do doctors overprescribe antibiotics? Who wants to take it?
Okay, I'll take that one. The short answer is yes, but yes with explanation.
Okay.
So I've worked in clinics before. So I know what the pressure can be like. A patient will come in and they decide, the last time I had a cold, I got this antibiotic and I want it again because I'm sick and I need help. And you will say, ma'am, your cold is probably caused by a virus. It's not likely that you'll need antibiotics. Viruses just have to run their course of time. Patient gets upset. Patient decides, you don't know what you're talking about because the last doctor gave it to me. So they go to another physician. And that other physician may be one that says, you know what, I don't want to lose this client. I don't want to lose this pay. So guess what? I'm going to give them what they want. They knowing full well sometimes that it may not work. And then again, sometimes they may think maybe there's something there that it can cover. So, just in case, I'll give it to you. But being the microbiologist, I can safely say that if it's a virus that's causing your problem, the antibiotic will not work for it. It only covers bacteria. And as such, patients need to be appropriately assessed. So even if you have a sore throat, yes, it can be viral, but there are things that we'll look for to see whether or not bacteria are also infecting the area and whether or not you actually need antibiotics. So you may think this time I have a flu and I got it, but that's because there was bacteria there also. And the next time you have a flu, it may not be that way. So please listen to your physician and don't try to force them to give you antibiotics when you don't need it.
Excellent. Okay, anything else you want to add?
Sure. And this is not a local problem. This is a global problem. This is not a Cayman problem. This is not a Central America problem. This is a global issue. And because we know there is a tendency to use antibiotics as a crutch or as a panacea, a snake oil, if you will. We have guidelines that are developed by various organizations to help us to look at the patient in front of us and decide based on where this patient falls in terms of markers, in terms of their scores, this patient should get antibiotics or this patient should not get antibiotics. And this is something that we learn when we go through our medical training, as well as when we keep up to date with our yearly reviews and medical education. These are things that are drilled into us to identify the patients who need the antibiotics and those who don't. But like Dr. Reynolds said, despite that, you want a happy patient. So sometimes we do fall into the trap of giving antibiotics when we don't feel it is absolutely necessary.
And that's why patient education is absolutely important. And it's good when we have talk shows like this, or you have different symposia where patients and the general public is exposed to the fact that antimicrobial resistance is real and the effects it can have on you, and why you shouldn't force the issue when you don't need an antibiotic.
Got you. So let's talk about antibiotic stewardship.
Okay. So antibiotic stewardship is the act or the action of ensuring that antibiotics are used wisely, antibiotics are used safely, and antibiotics are used for the shortest period of time possible, only when indicated. And it has a myriad of benefits. One, the benefit to the patient. So you decrease the risk of poor antibiotic use to the patient, whether it be choosing the wrong antibiotic first. So you want to choose the correct antibiotic the first time. You reduce the chance of the patient getting adverse reactions to the antibiotics. You reduce the chance of the patient having a very, very high hospital bill because you picked a very expensive antibiotic that wasn't necessary. And you've also reduced exposure of the general population to antibiotics when it's not indicated. Because antibiotic stewardship is something that's near and dear to me. It's not just a human health issue. Antibiotic stewardship affects the environment. You can have antibiotics polluting rivers and streams. You can end up with antibiotics in your fish. You can end up with antibiotics being used in animal husbandry. You know, we know that animals that are exposed to antibiotics grow fatter, bigger, and faster. So a lot of people, certainly not our local farmers, but in large industries, a lot of people will use antibiotics even in healthy animals just to get them to be ready to harvest as quickly as possible. So whenever we can, you know, we need to look out for those, even everything we ingest, even if it's not an antibiotic course that you're taking or something you got from your friend, even in the food that you consume. If you can avoid things that have been exposed to antibiotics, try as much as you possibly can, because it affects us all. It's all, or what we call a One Health approach.
Okay, and what are some of the best practices when it comes to prescribed antibiotics? What are the best practices to follow?
Okay. So best practices to follow, I would say to ensure that if antibiotics have been prescribed for you, ensure that, one, you complete the course as we mentioned earlier. However, it's also best practice if it is that you are having an adverse effect to an antibiotic, it's important that you seek medical advice rather than continue taking it despite what is currently happening. So I think those are some of the key pointers in terms of best practice.
Yes, and don't miss your doses.
Right, and don't double dose. So essentially, if you're supposed to be taking an antibiotic 3 times for the day and you have forgotten, or 4 times for the day, which there are antibiotics that can be taken on that dosing schedule, you forget to take a dose. Don't say, okay, I forgot to take, if you're doing 7, 3, and 11, you forgot the 3 o'clock dose, then you're going to say, okay, at 11, I'm going to take an additional. You would have missed that dose. Yeah. So that's also
and it's also important not to share your antibiotics. So you got sick first, you started your antibiotics, and then your cousin got sick in the house as well, and you say, you know what, this is helping me. Take some of mine. So now you've shortened your dose, and you've also given somebody a drug that they may not even need.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And what do we say to parents who have that temptation and want to use leftover antibiotics on other children in the household?
Oh boy,
it's
not recommended.
Not recommending. It's quite tempting, because especially if it is that you have, 2 children in the household or 3 and they're sick, it may be difficult to, trying to be attending to the 1 or 2 that are sick and then having to take another to the doctor. But in the long term, the risk outweighs the benefit, meaning it may be challenging to take the child, the third child to the doctor, but it will be in your best interest.
So would the advice then be that once you have finished with the antibiotics, dispose of them as opposed to keeping them around the house?
Well, disposal.
That's in a proper way. Absolutely, in a proper way.
So,
and
go ahead.
On a somber note, we're thinking about well, healthy people, but sometimes you have relatives that pass on, and they may pass on leaving their antibiotics or any medications. You really should get in contact with your pharmacist to find out how these drugs are supposed to be disposed, because you wouldn't want that in our water table.
Flush it.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
So if it is that you do have antibiotics, let's say, for example, a culture was done, so you went to the doctor said, okay, you need to do a urine sample, and you've done the urine sample, and they've said, okay, based on the results, we need to change your antibiotics. If it is that you had gotten an initial antibiotic, you can take that medication, and you've been advised to stop, you can take that medication into the pharmacy that you have been told to no longer take, and we will dispose of it, ensuring that it is safe for the environment and safe for all of us here in the Cayman Islands.
That is excellent. That is good to know. We have another question here. I'm going to read it first, and then we're going to go to our last commercial break and give you an opportunity to respond to it after. And you've spoken about this already. This person says, can you ask them if it is a fact that all medications that we take to help our bodies with a sickness can also harm another area of our bodies negatively, which can cause another sickness as well? Like I said, you spoke about it before, but obviously this person didn't hear that part of the conversation, so we will repeat that for that listener as soon as we return from this commercial break. Please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Hey, Bobo, TD, cousin, everybody. I hear Cayman Airways celebrating their 57th anniversary by giving us the gifts, about 10 of them. Because they got airfares on sale now for flights to every place they fly to next month through December. Look here, I gonna book my flights now to go Galawatan this month with Cayman Airways. I'll see you directly.
Catch your seat on sale by August 11th. Other conditions apply. Book on CaymanAirways.com, our new mobile app, or call us on 949-2311. Cayman Airways, celebrating 57 years as your award-winning, uniquely Caymanian airline.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Protect your computers and mobile devices with security software to defend against cyber attacks through viruses, malware, and other online threats. Be aware of unsecure Wi-Fi connections when in public. If you need to access your online banking or sensitive information on your mobile devices, try disabling the Wi-Fi and switching to data from your mobile network. If you suspect a fraud attempt, please contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Get ready! Gamers Bay 9 is back and bigger than ever. On September 27th and 28th, Dive into 2 epic days of esports battles, VR, cosplay, and meet your favorite streamers and content creators. All at the John Gray Gymnasium. Don't miss the ultimate gaming experience for fans of all ages. Tickets available now at gamersbayevent.com. Level up your weekend. Only at Gamers Bay 9.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. We're on the last leg of the show this afternoon, but we may go a little bit, try to sneak a little extra time, 5 minutes or so, because we still have so many important questions to be answered as well. Of course, the conversation is taking place with pharmacist Ms. Ramon Gale, microbiologists Dr. Camille Blake, and Dr. Glendy Reynolds. So before we went to the break, the listener wanted me to ask whether or not it is a fact that all medications that we take help our bodies with a sickness. To help our bodies with a sickness can also harm another area of our bodies negatively, which can cause another sickness, and that's what the doctors are there for, right? That is why when you feel something else, you should then report it as well. But I'm not the doctor here.
Absolutely, I can answer that.
Sure.
So there is nothing on this earth that is without the possibility of a side effect or an adverse event. Mm-hmm. Everything down to water. Mm-hmm. If you consume too much water, you'll get water sickness. Yep. And you can end up in the hospital, right? So circling back to medications and antibiotics, even in antibiotics when they are prescribed and they're for treating an illness, one of the side effects that we know will happen is the antibiotic is not able to just target a certain type of bacteria. It has the capacity to alter your body's natural bacteria, because all of us have our own unique bacteria, almost like fingerprint. Mm-hmm. Everybody has their own bacteria fingerprint. If I were to take a course of antibiotics, my fingerprint will be altered for the immediate period afterwards until my body can get back to its normal fingerprint. So while someone may have an side effect, not everybody out of a group of 100 will have the exact same side effect. And some people may have side effects that we've never even seen before. Some of those things are called idiosyncratic. You cannot predict those types of side effects. But the most common side effect that you usually associate with any kind of antibiotic is nausea, vomiting, funny taste. Some of the antibiotics that we use, metronidazole, for example, cause a very funny taste and will alter the way everything tastes to you. So you may feel poorly for that period while you're on that antibiotic. When you clear out or you remove your body's natural good bacteria, you might have overgrowth of things like yeast. So you'll have some patients who end up with a yeast infection after a course of antibiotics. But all of these things you should report to your physician or your pharmacist. And we can give you countermeasures to either prevent that from happening. So if you know you're someone who always ends up with a yeast infection, just tell us before we prescribe the antibiotic. And we can give you something to prevent that from happening, or you can treat yourself at the time it happens. Or we can give you alternatives to help you along the way, to help to lessen the effect of these side effects or adverse events on your lifestyle and your ability to go about your day-to-day work.
Okay, so as microbiologists, what are there any super bugs, and have you seen them in the Cayman Islands? And also, we'll combine that with the kind of resistant bacteria that you have encountered in the local lab settings as well.
Okay. All right. Either of us will speak, or we'll both speak.
Sure.
So, yes, there are organisms that we refer to as superbugs. And the term superbugs is a term that was coined to use for those organisms that showed not just resistance to one antibiotic, but to several classes of antibiotics. And because they're superbugs, they'll be harder to treat. Now, globally, you'll hear persons talk about something like MRSA, which is just an acronym for methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus. Long name, right? I know. But methicillin is a type of antibiotic. But when Staph aureus, we've heard of staph. People talk about staph infections. When staph picks up that gene and is able to be resistant to that antibiotic, it also gives it resistance to several other classes of antibiotics. So it's a harder or hardier organism to treat. There are other bugs like VRE. You want me to tell you what that one means?
Yes.
Vancomycin-resistant Enterococcus. You have some others we call multi-drug resistant. Let me just use that term. And even there is a nice, no, I can't say nice, but there's a superbug on the horizon, a Neisseria gonorrhea that's resistant to practically everything we currently have on the market to treat it. So that's something for persons to, not be naughty so that you can keep yourself safe. Because these superbugs, as we mentioned, will be harder to treat. You also mentioned whether or not we have been seeing these organisms. I can safely say absolutely yes. We haven't seen the Neisseria gonorrhea here yet, but we don't know. And sometimes if you're not testing for it, you won't know. So that's another thing. Sometimes patients will go to the doctor and, it looks like a bacterial infection, we treat it. Nothing really wrong with that, but it would be best if we actually took off a sample and sent it to the lab so we know what's out there and you will be better able to treat that organism. So yes, we've seen quite a few of these in the laboratory, but it sounds alarming, yes. There's another one we call ESBL, extended spectrum beta-lactamase producing. That just means that it produces this enzyme that breaks down a certain group of antibiotics. Okay. We do see quite a few of them here, but then they are seen globally. There are some of them, however, that are not so common here, and we don't want them here. So that's why we have to make sure we're doing the right things with our antibiotics. Yes. Is it alarming? No, because more and more globally we're seeing this because antimicrobial resistance is a global problem. But we can do what we can in our little corner to ensure that we have less of them circulating and we are not ourselves passing it on to others. I don't know if Dr. Blake wants to jump in.
Absolutely. It's so alarming and such a global threat that the CDC actually considers this one of their tasks or mandates. And they will actually publish data from all across the U.S. on the rates of these multi-drug resistant organisms. At the HSA, we do likewise, we do the same. So we do publish that data yearly within our institution. And that information is shared with public health. And based on the results of our trends, we will alter or we'll modify the type of antibiotics that we bring in to the organization. Because we always want to be on the leading edge of the infection and be on the leading edge of these diseases. Additionally, we have taken steps to further categorize these organisms that are unusual, these superbugs, as you say. And genetic testing is actually being done on these organisms to not just understand what is in our local community, but where is it possible that we had acquired that from? Has this particular type of bug been seen in probably the UK? Was it first seen in New York? Was it first seen in India? So that we can get a better understanding of what is happening in our local community. But yes, we definitely have superbugs. If we didn't have superbugs, we'd be rejoicing. People be coming to us to find out what is so unique about this island. This island is already special and unique, but that would be extra special. So it's not to frighten anybody. It's just to make us all cautious and cognizant of the risks that we're putting ourselves at when we do things that are unnecessary.
Okay. So, Mrs. Pharmacist, first of all, what advice do you have for someone who believes that they need antibiotics but they haven't seen a doctor, even though we touched on that before? And then also, how can pharmacists like you help to prevent the misuse of these antibiotics as well?
Okay, so pharmacists can aid in, I'll start with the second question, which is pharmacists can aid in preventing misuse of antibiotics by ensuring that all antibiotics are dispensed on a prescription, especially in the private sector, which I'm sure most of my colleagues do. But in terms of misuse as well, we can also ensure that we counsel our patients about the importance of not sharing, as we mentioned earlier, sharing antibiotics, as well as for patients to understand the importance of why they're taking the antibiotics and the importance of completing the course of the antibiotics. And the first question was?
In relation to those persons who believe that they need an antibiotic, but they haven't seen a doctor.
So for someone to say that they need an antibiotic, it's a very profound statement in that for them to make that assessment, they may not be a medical physician. And so, again, my recommendation is to seek medical advice, meaning seek a doctor's advice to establish what exactly is happening. What are the effects that are happening, meaning are they having frequent urination? What exactly is happening? And so that a thorough examination can be done, because essentially with them going to the doctor, it can actually open a Pandora's box, because so much more may be happening inside their body than they actually know. And by just looking at someone or just having information about just one aspect may not give you the true picture of what is happening with the patient. So if it is that they believe that they need antibiotics, then we have several services available at the HSA. There's the urgent care clinic, or depending on if it's a child, there's a pediatric clinic. So there are numerous resources that are available. And even if it's not the HSA, there are other medical services that are available on island. So we do have the resources here in the Cayman Islands. And so I encourage persons in the community to seek medical advice if it is that you're not feeling well, or if it is that you think you need antibiotics. Seek medical advice and ensure that you're going through the appropriate channels to obtain antibiotics. Just to ensure that it's safe for you, safe for your household, and safe for our country, because as we heard earlier, when you misuse antibiotics, there's the risk of resistance, there's the risk of superbugs developing, which may be of potential harm, maybe not necessarily now, but in the future it may harm you, because if it is that you try to source antibiotics, let's say from someone, and you really did not need it, years to come, you may actually need antibiotics, and those antibiotics may not be able to work for you. And then, it may put you in a precarious position where your health is essentially at jeopardy or in danger because you have exhausted your resources when you really did not need to.
Yes.
Can I add that even if you go to Dr. Google first, you should still seek a second opinion, So Dr. Google can give you some questions that you can discuss with your physician, but you really need to go to the physician to ensure that you truly need antibiotics.
So, ladies, hearing the three of you talk and, with the extensive knowledge that you all have, you will hear some people sing high praises about the Health Services Authority, and then you'll have the disgruntled individual who may have had a bad experience. But it would appear to me that you at the Health Services Authority, you have come a long way, in this field as well. But I'd like to hear it from you in terms of the strides that we have made and the things that we do to help to keep our populace safe and healthy.
So I can say, because I'm currently the chair of the Antimicrobial Stewardship Committee.
Okay.
This is my co-chair here with me, that the HSA, as far as I'm aware, is one of the first institutions in this island that had an Antimicrobial Stewardship Committee. And this committee has a very strong representation, not just by the physicians, but by our pharmacists, who are clinical pharmacists or infection control coordinators. We also have representatives from individual subspecialty areas, and we liaise very closely with the public health department. So it's a multidisciplinary or multi-pronged approach to tackling a big problem. I will say that over the last few years, the amount of enthusiasm that I've seen from my own staff members or from people who are related to the lab or people from even the patient care advocates, everybody understands that antibiotics and antibiotics misuse is a problem, and everybody is, what should I say, stirred or invigorated to tackle this task head on. And we get a lot of support from hospital leadership as well. Whenever you have a long-standing institution, it gives you a lot more opportunity to have had experience with that institution. Mm-hmm. And the more interactions you have, the higher the chances of you being able to have at least one bad interaction. But I can say confidently, working at the HSA for many years, loving the HSA so much that I left and came back, that the people that we work with are impassionate, compassionate, and caring individuals who really want to see the best for the Caymanian community. It's our community, you know. We want to strive for a healthy population, and the only way we can do that is not just through the HSA, but close interactions with the private sector. Because at the end of the day, what happens in the private sector will always come back. We're all interconnected. So this is not a HSA versus the others kind of initiative. This is a everybody one all come, you know, whether it's veterinary medicine, human health, environmental health. I think that if you have any concerns, come and let us know. We have, avenues for you to give us your feedback. And if there are any concerns that you have, please address them with us. We're very happy to serve the community. I know I speak not just for myself, but for my colleagues here. We are very happy to serve the community. And if you have any concerns or questions, send them in via WhatsApp, and we can continue this dialogue even after today, for sure.
Certainly. I want to give each of you an opportunity for some closing comments, you know, as well. So we'll start with you, Dr. Reynolds.
All right. So from an antimicrobial stewardship perspective, I just want to, you know, for both the physicians out there as well as or patients, remember, right drug, right dose, right timing, right duration. Very key in ensuring that patients take the right thing only for the prescribed time and only when necessary, so that we can help to limit antimicrobial resistance in our community.
Okay, before we get the rest of the comments, one of our listeners has said, OC, good afternoon. Critically important discussion on significant best practice knowledge on Talk to the Airways today. Solid scholarship. Great communication around antibiotics.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Closing comments, Dr. Blake.
I'm going to springboard off Wendy, not only antibiotic stewardship, but diagnostic stewardship. I represent the lab, so whatever you'd like us to diagnose for you, call us, have a discussion with us. We can guide you in the direct pathway, the correct test, when to take off that sample, and the correct intervention based on the results of that testing modality.
Okay, Ms. Clinical Pharmacist.
So on behalf of the pharmacy team, I want to say we're here for you, and we are here to educate the public and to collaborate with you to ensure that you do not misuse antibiotics and ensure that you know that you have our support. So if there are any questions, any concerns, feel free to visit any one of our pharmacies or give us a call, and we will guide you accordingly. Thank you.
Okay, I want to thank all of you, and I want to say that this talk show host has benefited immensely from this discussion as well. And I want to say to all of those quote-unquote friends out there, do not offer me any of your imported antibiotics that are brought in. And from here on in, I will take my full dose when it has been prescribed, and it will only be through a proper prescription, as well. So you've converted one person right here today, if no more. Again, I want to thank all of our listeners and our viewers, those of you who sent in questions, as well. We want to thank the folks at the Health Services Authority who do all that they can to help to keep the people of the Cayman Islands healthy and safe. I say to you, enjoy the rest of your day. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to continue to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital, peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you.